So, hello everyone. I am Ashwini Kumar Biswal from section 16 and my roll number is 21MF10010. I have made a circuit in Tinkercad simulating the hand sanitizer dispenser. So, the circuit elements that I have used in here are this Arduino Uno, this power supply, this DC motor, one NPN BJ transistor, 3 LED bulbs, 4 resistors, one photodiode and one potentiometer. So now I'm going to explain the working of my circuit. So here this photodiode is working as my sensor. It is giving input to the pin A0 of my Arduino, and this potentiometer is my volume control. So it is giving input to the pin A1. This pin 5 and pin 2 in here are the output pins. So for the time when my hand is below this sensor, this pin 2 gives output to this circuit and this bulb glows. And for this pin 5, from this the output goes into this transistor, and here the input voltage should be sufficient enough to overcome the barrier potential, and due to this a small base current here gets generated, and because of that a higher amplified collector current is generated in here, and because of which this circuit comes to life and our motor taking a supply from this power supply starts running. So let's first start the simulation. So here you can see, like, when giving some input to this sensor, you can see this motor starts to rotate. There is certain current in here, and this bulb which was glowing, now it's off, and this also comes to an halt, but this here this LED is glowing. Because this is why this is so, I am going to explain. As like, if we are keeping our hand for, let's suppose, 5 minutes or so, so it shouldn't happen like this, like the sanitizer is getting dispensed for all that 5 minutes. It shouldn't be like that. So here this red LED indicates that our sensor is getting some input now also, but this LED has turned off, and here current value has turned to 0 and there is no rotation. So it indicates that no sanitizer is getting dispensed. The dispensing of sanitizer is for a certain amount of time, and it is a one-time process. And again here you can see that if I like turn this value to some lower value, and now I turn on this sensor, so you can see it was for a lesser amount of time than what it was earlier. So it kind of indicates that with this we can like regulate the amount for which we want our motor to work, and which will finally decide the amount of volume that will get dispensed. So now finally we can review the code of our project. So yes, so here you can see I have defined certain variables: on off time, IR sense, and yes, I have fixed that pin 5 output, pin 2 again as output. Now we will see the loop part, and here you can see that I am taking input from A0 and A1, defined these variables as IR sense and on off time, and I have mapped this the input that we are taking in here from A1 to a variable time, so which is further used below in here, you can see. So which is basically going to dictate the time for which our this DC motor, this circuit or this DC motor is going to run. So here you can see if IR sense is greater than 78, then digital write to 1. So this pin 2 is turned on then whenever our sensor is getting certain inputs. So this will turn on for that time, else it will turn off. And here this is the loop condition for the working of this circuit. Here if IR sense is greater than 78, that means if our sensor is getting some input as well as your auto off trigger is equal to 0. Here initially I have like assigned it 0, so for the first run it will work very fine, and once it is like in here for the first run it will evaluate to true, and all this block of statements will get executed. So here digital write 5 1 delayed, so So when this is true, then this pin will start to give output, and this output will be for a time that is dictated here by the time I have mentioned that earlier, that from here we are getting from yes, from here we are getting this time from the potentiometer, basically the time value. And this is one important line in here, that I am setting the auto off trigger to 1. So what it does is that whenever this code, this loop repeats, so this statement again next time, for next and for the subsequent times, this evaluates to false. Because of this block of statements don't get executed. So what it means is that dispensing of sanitizer, that is just a one-time process. It doesn't matter for how many long you keep your hand below that sensor. And finally, if when you bring your hand out from the sensor, so this IR sense less than, this statement evaluates to true, and here this is again auto off trigger is equal to 0. So for the next time when you bring your hand below again the sensor, at that time auto trigger will be 0. So this statement that time will evaluate to true. So this statements will again execute. So now I am going to download this code, and we will run this code in the Arduino IDE and check if it's compiling correctly or not. So here I clicked on the downloaded option, and now we can go to this Arduino IDE, and now I'm going to open the file. So as you can see here, the file is opened. Now let's compile the code. So here you can see the compilation is complete and our code is correct. Execute. So it was like quite a complete project, and it is very practical, and given we have all the circuit elements in hand, we can very much bring this project into use in our daily lives. So this is the part of the project that I liked, and so thank you.